I proceed. Okay, proceed
Okay, madam.
Okay, so accounting estimate. Okay, accounting estimate. So as what we have done before, okay, on the accounting estimate, normally we will see the accounting estimate in the item in the financial statement. Okay, accounting estimate in the financial statement. So it's cover the estimation made by the management. So what should you do? Okay, you have to look at in terms of the reasonableness of the estimation. Okay, reasonableness, and also the whether the estimate done by the management is consistent. So you have to look at so to check whether it is consistent or not, or reasonable or not, you have to perform the test. So what should you do? You have to obtain audit evidence from event occurring up to the date of the auditor's report. So actually, what is the date? Okay. So what is the date? Okay, look at to the date. So this is on the accounting estimate. Okay, accounting estimate. Okay. So when we talk about accounting estimate, so when is the period covered to look at the accounting estimate? So you have learned it in your FA. So it is come under event after the balance sheet date. Ada tak belajar event after the balance sheet date? In FA. Event occurring after the balance sheet date. Where some event you might adjust, some event you not adjust but disclose. Ada tak?
Ada.
Okay, good. So that one, okay, you have to look at when to look at the accounting estimate. So the accounting estimate is starting from the financial year end. So this is financial year end. Okay, until the audit report issued. Okay, kita kena tengok sampai this period. Okay, so actually they have some also event after the audit report has been agreed. So this one not cover in the syllabus. So that one, this period cover in your F8 and paper A nanti. Okay, so we just cover until this period. So the event after the balance sheet date and before before the audit report has been approved ataupun financial statement has been approved before by the board. Okay, board of directors. So that is the period. So you look at in terms of the accounting estimate. So you have to test how management met the accounting estimate and significant assumption and data on which it is based. And then look at also on developing an auditor's point estimate or range to determine whether the estimate is reasonable. So this is reasonable using an independent estimate. So independent estimate if the estimation come from the expert. Okay, the accounting estimate and the related disclosure will be cover in the chapter review nanti chapter 15. Okay, if not mistaken, forming an audit judgment nanti chapter 15. So at this stage, okay, you must only know what is the meaning of the accounting estimate and why the auditor obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the accounting estimate. So the objective of the auditor to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence about whether accounting estimate and related disclosure in the financial statement are reasonable. Okay, in the context of the applicable financial reporting framework. So accounting estimate is a monetary amount for which the measurement, monetary amount in which the measurement in accordance with the requirement of the applicable financial reporting framework is subject to estimation uncertainty. Okay. What is estimation uncertainty? Is susceptibility to an inherent lack of precision in measurement. Inherent lack of precision in measurement. Contoh dia apa? Estimation uncertainty ni, provision for doubtful debt. Because the management does not sure yet because that not happen yet. Okay, it based on their inherent assumption and based on their experience. So they put that figure. So that's why you have to look at whether it is reasonable or not. Okay, when we talk about estimation, they might come from two point of view. One from the management point of view. So it's the amount selected by management for recognition or disclosure in the financial statement as an accounting estimate. Satu management point of view in terms of the estimation they put in the financial statement. And from the second one is auditor's point estimate or auditor's ranges, auditor's estimation. Okay, so auditor's estimation is done when you are not really agreed with the estimation made by the management. So you should discuss and how you come up, you have to set an amount or range of amount respectively developed by the auditor in evaluating management point estimate. So you develop and then you have to discuss with the management. If the management agreed from the point estimation, your point estimation, then they have to use it. Tukar, okay? If not, so you have to get justification from the management. So what are the examples of accounting estimate? Okay, all information or all disclosure or all amount does not occur yet. Okay, so it's normally relate to the classes of transaction, account balances and related disclosure. So it might come or it might appear in the transaction or might appear in the balances or in the disclosure. Okay, example, allowance to reduce inventories. So inventory write-off, okay, obsolescence of inventory, okay, and then receivables, okay, to the estimated realizable value. So provision for doubtful debt, okay, provision for unpaid receivable, okay. So that is come under estimation. So whichever amount does not yet realized. So but put it under a financial statement. So that is considered estimation. Okay, provision. Any provision to allocate the cost of long-term asset, provision for depreciation, okay, provision for amortization. Okay, so that is considered estimation. Accrued revenue, okay, accrued revenue also estimation. Provision for loss, okay, from pending litigation. So this is provision for legal suit. So that is also provision, okay, whether gain or probable to gain or probable to loss. Okay, so should be disclosed. And it is sure, okay, if it is sure to gain or if it is sure to loss, so whether it is adjust or not. Okay, and then provision to meet warranty obligation. So this is also provision, not yet confirmed. Okay, directors and management are responsible for making accounting estimates include in the financial statement. Okay, directors and management are responsible for making accounting estimates include in the financial statement. These estimates are often made in condition of uncertainty regarding the outcome of event and involve the use of judgment. Okay, So normally they use judgment. They are therefore more susceptible to management bias. Okay, especially where management has an incentive to manipulate trading result. Okay, for example, their remuneration is linked to the entity's profit for the year. So remuneration, okay, to the board of directors, because remuneration is based on the entity's profit. So are they going to manipulate the result in order to give remuneration to the board of directors? Okay. Or are they going to manipulate the result in order to pay the bonus? In order to pay the bonus, or yes, in order to pay the dividend. So because dividend can only be paid if they have the positive income. If the company have the income. So in order to show to the shareholders that they are good, okay, in their operation, so they manipulate the trading result. So you have to look at in terms of susceptible to management bias. And the risk of material misstatement therefore increases when accounting estimates are involved. Okay, so when the accounting estimates are involved, okay, so the potential of material misstatement is there. Okay, and audit evidence supporting accounting estimate is generally less than conclusive. So auditor needs to exercise greater judgment on that area, and auditors need to exercise a higher degree of professional skepticism. That's why I said when talking about analytical procedures, accounting estimate, you have to use highly your judgment and skepticism. Okay, what are the risk assessment procedure regarding the accounting estimate? Okay, you look at in terms of the entity and its environment, transaction, event and condition that may give rise to the need for accounting estimate, especially in terms of regulation affecting the accounting estimate and nature of the accounting estimate. Okay, at the beginning, okay, of industry itself. So if the industry involved heavily on the non-current asset, the use of non-current asset, okay, so they will try to manipulate the amount for provision for depreciation. So because this is non-cash item, okay, non-cash item, maybe they want to reduce the profit to avoid the tax. So depends on the situation. What is the agenda of the business? Okay, so you have to look at in terms of the risk assessment procedures when you understand the company, business and environment. And then the second one, in terms of entity internal control, maybe the governance, okay, the board of directors and those charged with the governance is oversight over accounting estimate, okay, made by management. So they let the management decide only, okay, and the governance or those charged with the governance, okay, follow what the estimation done by the management. So when talking about the accounting estimate, you have to look at in terms of method, assumption, sources of data, relevant control, the changing of period, okay, from the previous years and current year, whether management has assessed the effect of the estimation uncertainty. So as example, on the assumption that where the accounting estimate is applied in the current year, it should be consistently applied in the future year. Okay, let's say if the life of the NCA is 5 years, so if they choose the provision for depreciation using the straight line method, it must consistently use for 5 years. So if there are any changes, see the reason. okay, must justify by the management why they change the estimation method. So the method here. Okay. Okay. And then other than that, you have to look at in terms of the inherent risk factor when they consider on the estimation. Okay, look at to the basis, okay, of the estimation. Okay, basis maybe look at to the cost or price of an item, where it cannot be when you audit the company normally. You know the sales figure of the company, sales figure, okay, sales in the financial statement, in the SOFOL, NCI. But okay, you get the total here, let's say $5 million. Okay, but normally you cannot specifically know the unit price for each item. Okay, the cost or price of an item cannot be directly observed because the price might be changed over time. When you come at the end of the year, okay, or you come after the end of the year, you perform the substantive test, the price might be changed already. Okay, and then unless it is a control price. And then estimation uncertainty, the susceptibility to an inherent lack of precision. Okay, macam contoh yang tadi lah on the accounting estimate, complexity and subjectivity of the estimation. Okay, how you respond? Okay, you obtain the audit evidence from event occurring up to the date of auditor's report. Test how management made the accounting estimate and develop an auditor's point estimate or range. Okay, you find out the evidence and then test the accounting estimate and you consider your own point of estimation pula. And then discuss with the management. Okay. So I am not going into detail. So what should the auditor do? Okay, consider whether data is accurate. Okay, yang ni tak perlu. So okay, the last one is return representation. So what happen if your if the management estimation and point of auditor's estimation does not parallel? If not parallel, so means you have to discuss with the management, ask the return representation of the management if you don't agree with their estimation. So auditor shall obtain written representation from management and where appropriate, those charged with governance whether they believe significant assumption used in making accounting estimate are reasonable. So ask the management to write a representation letter to you, to explain why they have the estimation does not follow the requirement of the financial reporting framework. Okay, and then this is what Joe Price do, in the case study. Okay, Joe has identified a provision of 40,000 in the account. Okay, provision of 40,000. Joe Price. Remember Brown Co. Okay, Brown Co. So yang tadi tu. Okay, and then Joe has identified a provision of 40,000 in the account. She has been informed that this is a provision for damages likely to result from litigation pending against Brown Co. by a customer for breach of contract. So this is a legal suit to the to Brown and Co. So pending litigation. Okay, pending litigation means that the case is not yet settled. So case not yet settled. So the the auditor Joe Price identify the provision of 40,000 in the account. So what should the Joe Price do? In the audit of this balance, Joe would need to consider the following. Whether the amount is material. So you kena tanya 40,000 ni material or not under provision for litigation against Brown ni. Okay, so where you want to compare whether the amount is material or not. So since this is a provision, so it will affect the revenue item. Okay, dia masukkan dalam provision for expenses this one. So this is the item which affect the financial statement. So it include under the provision for litigation in expenses. So when it's involved with the revenue, so you have to compare with the profit before tax. So remember this one. Okay, profit before tax of the company. This one. Okay, 527112. So what you do is, remember, when you compare the profit before tax, what is the benchmark? So if it is less than, if it is more than 5%, it is considered material. So what should you do is, you compare the provision of 40,000 here. 40,000 divided by 527,112, so you will get approximately 7.5%. So it is more than 5% considered material. So this is on the material misstatement, materiality item. So when the amount is material, this provision is material, you have to do the investigation. Okay. So whether the treatment complies with IAS 37, provision, contingent liabilities and contingent asset. Okay. Recognition will depend upon the assessment of the outcome. So this is important. Recognition will depend upon the assessment of the outcome. If it is likely that Brown Co. will lose the case, the provision should be recognized. Okay, probable to lose. Okay, you will recognize. If it is probable to gain, you cannot anticipate for the gain. Okay, because that is come under IAS 37. Joe will need to assess the assumption on which this decision has been based. This may involve reviewing legal advice provided and by considering the outcome of any similar situation encountered in the past. So what should Joe Price do? Okay, Joe should ask for the legal advice expert. So whether the company, dia kata when they include in the expenses, so it is probable that the amount, the situation or the case will be loose. So sebab itu dia masukkan. That's why they put it under provision for litigation and the loss expenses. So now, whether it is probable to lose or not, you have to ask for the legal advice. The amount of the provision, whether this $40,000 is reasonable. Here Joe may need to consider advice provided by the company's legal team and will need to review correspondence between them and Brown Co. The possibility of mitigating factors, Brown Co may have resource to others depending on the nature of the issue. So mitigate the factors. Mitigating the factors. So you look at to the resources, to others. Depending on the nature. So what are the nature? Kenapa they sued by the customer? Look at to the nature, on the breach of contract. the possibility that this problem has affected other contract which also require provision. So is there any other relationship arise because of this provision? Okay. So what should Joe Price do? Okay, look at to the contract with the customer to determine the nature of the breach of and the consequences. So kalau ada lagi any possible provision that should be need to do. Okay. And documentation produced by the legal advisor. So you have to check also and any correspondence from the legal advisor, discussion with the management to assess the basis of the assumption. Okay, previous year's working paper on the similar matters. Okay, you have to check also because this is pending litigation. So it might come from the case might be heard in the court for the let's say for 2 years already. 2 years not complete yet. So it should arise in the working paper in the permanent file. Okay, a review of the event after the reporting period. Okay, so review of event after the reporting period to establish whether the claim has been settled subsequently. Review of other major customer contract. Discussion with management. Okay, and written representation by management. Okay, written representation is letter by the management replying on the matters discussed. So the matters here is the provision. Okay, provision for litigation. Okay, so 40,000. So this is the letter that you want the management to write to you. Okay, so that is what how you deal with the provision. Okay, how you deal with the provision. So this one talking about the provision of 40,000. Okay, any question class? Okay, dia cuma akan bagi tahu, tanya you how you are going to do the estimation. Okay, if you are given the estimation like this question, so what you are going to deal with that figure. So you check whether the amount is material, whether the treatment comply with the FRS. Okay, so itulah jawapan-jawapan yang you kena bagi. And then you have to know, okay, actually what is the provision? Okay, which one is not a provision, which one is provision? Okay, any question? Any question?
Madam,
Yes.
substantive test ni need to be performed every year ke? Ke macam TOC?
Substantive test ni. Okay, substantive test, yes, must be performed. Okay, dia must be performed in every audit. Okay, because you are going to perform. Okay, what actually you should do in audit. Okay, when you at the planning stage, okay, you dah assess the audit risk level. So inherent risk, time wave, control risk, time wave, detection risk. Okay, yang ni kita dah done. Masa kita sampailah kita perform TOC. Okay, daripada planning stage plus you perform the TOC. So you already get the result. Okay, and then from this result, okay, you will determine the nature, extent and timing of audit procedure. Extent of audit procedure. So kat sini, kalau you tengok test of control dia lemah. So as I said earlier tadi, yang kat sini. Okay, when you identify any deficiencies here, it indicate there is a possible of material misstatement. So bila dia indicate area of possible misstatement, you have to extend the audit procedures. So in whatever condition, okay, of the financial statement, okay, so you must perform the substantive test. Sebab when you perform the substantive test, you will be able to achieve the assertion, the objective. Okay. So this will determine the substantive test. Okay, will determine the level of detection risk. So if you perform your substantive test well, okay, you able to achieve the assertion. Okay, and okay, you at the end, okay, you able to gather, okay, sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Okay, when you able to gather sufficient appropriate audit evidence, okay, you can reduce the detection risk. Okay, when you reduce the detection risk, what is the result? Okay, you reduce the audit risk. Okay, sebab itu kita mesti set a low level of audit risk. So how you are going to set a low level of audit risk? Okay, you must lower the detection risk. So when you lower the detection risk, okay, you have to perform more substantive tests. Or when you not rely on the test of control procedure, you directly perform the substantive test. Okay, boleh? Boleh tak? Siapa yang tanya tadi tu?
Boleh, madam.
Okay. So at any situation pun dalam audit, you mesti buat substantive test. Kalau test of control, you nak perform, boleh, you tak nak perform pun tak apa. Sebab itu, normally auditor set to perform the test of control ni, okay, once in 3 years if there is no changes in the internal control system of the company. Okay, but the substantive procedures must be performed every audit. Okay, every audit. So the time frame dia mesti kat sini. Okay, so I draw this one. So during the final audit ni, okay, this one So this one is final audit. Okay, final audit. Okay, so when the auditor perform the final audit, the main focus is perform the substantive test. Yang ni wajib. Sama ada detail or not detail, okay, it depends on the result of the interim audit here. So if the auditor do not perform the interim audit, so means that they have to focus on the final audit and they have to focus for the substantive test. So that's why you have to look at proper planning on your timing. Is it you able to perform all during the short period here? Let's say you are given only 1 month, okay, to perform the final audit. Okay, before the audit review will be done by the partner. Okay, any question? Any more question? Okay, it's better you ask Sebab yang ni is application. After this, kita akan tengok all the substantive test saja. Okay, chapter 11 until chapter 14. Ada soalan tak? So, if no, then we go to the exercise. Okay, kita tengok which one you able to finish. Okay, mana exercise? Okay, you can take the exercise from the Google Classroom. Okay, I check first. Okay. Okay, can you see the exercise? Okay, I share in the screen. I share on the screen the exercise. Boleh tak nampak?
Boleh.
Okay, boleh. Then you can also download from your Google Classroom. I think the question is already come out in the Google Classroom because I already set at 11 just now. Okay, boleh tak dapat? Siapa yang check daripada Google Classroom? Tak ada File dia tak ada? Ya ke? Sekejap. Tak keluar ke?
Tak ada, madam.
Tak ada? You tengok kat mana? Exercise chapter 10 ni tak keluar ni. Lah tak keluar Nak cari dengan mana yang nak cari ni? Sekejap. Boleh tak? Keluar tak? Pelik ni. Kena ada question mark ni mesti tak keluar ni. Keluar tak? Tak ada tak apalah, awak tengok je lah dekat sini, nanti saya share. Ada? Ada tak?
Ada.
Ada? Okay. Pelik dia keluar question mark tu. Okay. Now answer number 1. Okay, what is the answer? Number 1. Okay, the auditor of Trico recently completed interim audit for the year ending 31st July, year 5. They confine their work only to test of control on accounting record to 31st March, year 5, and conclude that control were totally unreliable. Control were totally unreliable. So if the control are totally unreliable, what should you do next? Okay, you cannot rely on the internal control. Can you perform the test of control?
No.
No. Yes, you cannot perform the test of control. So, if you cannot perform test of control, so test of control, no. So, perform the substantive test. Yes. So, check the answer. Which one is the answer? So, kalau test of control no, so number A and number B dah salah. So, macam tu lah you jawab. Okay, look at to C and D. So, the answer is between C and D. So, pilih now. So, look at the information in C and information in D. So, which one you choose? Okay, siapa? Amira. Amira Nadira. Amira?
Yes, saya.
Okay. So which one is the answer? It's between C and D. So which one is the answer?
C.
C. Why your answer is C? What is the difference between C and D? Both substantive procedure. Tapi what is the difference? In order for you to choose C is the answer.
The difference is
Apa beza C dengan D? And then why you choose C as the answer?
the C have all have the whole accounting period. And D only the procedure.
Okay. So C, okay, bukan D is only the procedure. Okay, so C, yes, correct. You said that the substantive procedures performed for the whole accounting period and on the statement of financial position as at 31st July plus a review of the financial statement. So, okay, why you not answer D? Because this is only focused on the statement of financial position as at 31st July. So not to the whole accounting period. Procedures on transaction and also procedures on the balances. So untuk C ni dia cover all. So actually when you perform the substantive procedure, you have to perform detail of test. So detail of test tu dia include the transaction, okay, balances and the disclosure. Disclosure ni review tu lah. And review of financial statement. Tapi untuk D ni dia fokus kepada satu saja, balances, dua saja, balances and disclosure. Okay, dia tak ada buat kepada transaction. So that's why D is wrong. So when you perform the substantive test, you have to perform to the test of detail. Test of detail includes the transaction, balances and disclosure. Okay. Number 2. Any question? Understand, Amira?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So number 2. Number 2. Okay. Syamina.
Yes, madam. Hello?
Yes, Syamina. Yes.
Ni tak dengar tadi. Why does the auditor need to undertake analytical procedure at the final review stage of the audit? Hmm,
So the question is why
Finance.
on the final review?
To form an overall view of consistency of the financial statement.
Okay, consistency of the financial statement. Okay, consistency ni macam mana you explain on consistency? What is the meaning of consistency there?
Sebab kita nak tahu dia punya konsisten dengan auditor knowledge of the business kan.
Yes, good. So consistency ni at the beginning, okay, when you understand the client business and industry, and at the end of the audit. Okay, so consistency dia sama tak at the beginning and at the end of the audit? Okay, good. Number 3. Siapa nak lagi nak cuba? Ain Izzati. Ain Izzati? Ain? Tadi Ain dah. Mana tadi? Okay, Ain, try. So
which of the following are analytical procedure? First, calculate a sample of monthly payroll calculation. Second, reviewing purchase ledger control account reconciliation. Third, comparing monthly sales totals from one month to another. Last, calculating the inventory days holding period. The answer is C, 2 and 3 only.
2 and 3. 2 and 3. Okay, which of all analytical, kita tahu analytical procedure, the keyword tadi mesti ada perkataan compare. Okay, you must look at whether the comparison exists or not. So recalculate, okay, recalculate a sample of monthly payroll calculation. So this is recalculation. So sebenarnya this is more on apa? Payroll calculation. So this is dah pergi substantive test. Detail test. Okay, recalculate. Review purchase ledger control account reconciliation. So bila you buat reviewing purchase ledger control account reconciliation, so is it analytical procedure? Purchase ledger control account reconciliation, you review sama ada dia buat reconciliation ataupun tak. So yang ni, is it analytical procedure? Ada compare tak? Ain? Ada dia buat comparison tak bila you review? Review ni dalam bahasa Melayu apa? Lihat semula kan? Okay, you lihat semula. Okay, whether purchase ledger control account reconcile or not. So, is it compare?
Yeah, compare.
Okay, comparing monthly sales total from one month to another. So this one clear, compare. Okay. 2, 3 So then calculating the inventory days holding period. Calculate the inventory days holding period. Is it analytical procedure? You are calculating.
No.
Calculating is calculate lah calculate bukannya compare. Tapi kalau you compare inventory days holding period with the previous year and current year, dia akan jadi analytical procedure. Okay, so the answer is C. Okay. Number 4. Ada soalan? Pak Izzah. Pak Izzah. Try number 4, Pak Izzah.
Which of the following is not an example of an accounting estimate?
Counting estimate is the provision. So which one? Not the provision.
My answer is director's bonus.
Kenapa? Why? Kenapa Pak Izzah said director's bonuses is not the accounting estimate? When the company issue bonus? Director's bonus normally is on the provision or on the actual amount?
Actual amount.
Yeah?
Actual amount.
Actual amount. So that's why the answer is not estimate. Okay, it's based on directors, it's based on the actual amount. It's not the provision. Okay, kita tak ada provision for directors bonuses. Okay, kita ada directors bonuses. So that is the actual amount paid to the directors. Okay. So next, the question is identify 3 methods reflected the financial statement of limited company where management typically make an accounting estimate. So what is the 3 methods affected the financial statement? Okay, where management typically make the accounting estimate. Apa methods dia? Okay, so yang ni, okay, you can refer to the books, okay, but don't copy exactly what you have in the books, okay, and submit it in the Google Classroom. Everyone must do it, okay. I tak nak you copy exactly what you have in the book. Produce your own sentence and put in the Google Classroom. Okay, so later when we want to do revision, so we will look at back what you have done in the Google Classroom. Okay, this is evidence that you do the exercise. Okay, boleh kelas? You do your own answer, You do your own answer and then you put in the Google Classroom. So this is an evidence. So bila kita buat revision nanti, bila kita buat revision, then we will look at back to your answer. Okay, boleh?
Boleh.
Boleh, So 2 question on the accounting estimate and the analytical procedures. Okay. So any more question class? Before we start the class, so to next class is on inventory. Kita kena laju